The Canon EOS R7 Mark II leaks just revealed something Canon never intended to go public this early, and it exposes their entire hidden strategy against Sony. This is not another incremental APS-C upgrade designed to compete with the A6700. The leaked specifications show Canon is building something far more dangerous, a camera engineered to pull full-frame hybrid shooters away from Sony's ecosystem without them realizing they are making the switch until it is already done. Before we dive in, if you want to catch every major camera leak before the rest of the internet talks about it, subscribe now, because this story goes deeper than anyone expected, and by the end you will see exactly how Canon plans to reshape the camera wars. Here is where Canon's plan gets absolutely diabolical. The R7 Mark II is not being built to fight the Sony A6700. It is being engineered to make full-frame shooters question why they are spending an extra $1,000 on bodies that cannot match its performance in real-world shooting scenarios. Think about it. Canon is reportedly dropping a 40-megapixel stacked sensor into an APS-C body with 30 to 40 frames per second electronic burst rates and 8K 60 frames per second raw video. Those are not APS-C specs. Those are flagship full-frame specifications crammed into a crop sensor package, and that is precisely the point. Wildlife photographers have been Sony's bread and butter for years, right? The Sony A1 and A7R5 dominate because of speed and resolution. But what happens when Canon offers you 40 megapixels with EOS R1 level? Autofocus tracking that can lock onto a bird's eye in flight, shoot 40 frames per second in complete silence with zero blackout, and give you 8-stop in-body image stabilization, all for around $2,000? Suddenly, that Sony A1 at $6,500 starts feeling like overkill for anyone who does not absolutely need full-frame depth of field. And Canon knows this. The leaks explicitly describe this camera as a mini R1, which is not marketing fluff, it is strategic positioning. By borrowing the R1's dual-pixel CMOS AF2 algorithms and subject detection intelligence, Canon is essentially giving you flagship autofocus performance that can track birds, vehicles, and human eyes with the same ruthless accuracy as their professional bodies. Sports shooters are going to lose their minds over this. Imagine shooting a soccer match at 40 frames per second with zero shutter noise, perfect for quiet venues, with autofocus that never loses the player's face even in a crowd. That is game-changing for event photographers who have been locked into Sony's ecosystem purely because of the A9 series speed. But here is where it gets even more interesting. Canon is ditching the mechanical shutter entirely, fully electronic only. At first, this sounds like a cost-cutting move, maybe even a downgrade for purists who love that mechanical click. But look deeper and you will see the genius. By going electronic only, Canon eliminates vibration completely, extends shutter life infinitely, enables those insane 40 frames per second burst rates, and most importantly, they can undercut Sony on price while delivering superior performance. Yes, there is risk. Electronic shutters can produce banding under certain artificial lights, and that has been documented in prototype tests. But Canon is betting that their sensor readout speeds will be fast enough to minimize those artifacts, essentially matching or beating Sony's electronic shutter implementation. And if they pull it off, they have just made the A6700's 11 frames per second mechanical limit look ancient. Travel creators and hybrid shooters, this is your dream camera. 8K at 60 frames per second raw internal recording means you are getting cinema-quality footage without needing an external recorder. 4K at 120 frames per second slow motion with minimal crop gives you those buttery smooth shots that clients pay premium rates for. Canon Log 3 and 10-bit 4:2:2. Internal means your color grading workflow is professional grade. And because it is APS-C, your lenses are lighter, your bag is smaller, and you are still getting image quality that rivals full frame and good light. Sony A7S III has been the video king, but at $3,500, it is being challenged by a crop sensor body that costs almost half as much and offers higher resolution for photography work. That is the hybrid advantage Canon is weaponizing. But wait, there is more to this plan, and it is where things get really suspicious. Now here is the twist nobody saw coming, and it is the part of Canon's strategy that should terrify Sony the most. Multiple sources are whispering about a second model, possibly called the EOS R7V, splitting off as a video-centric variant. And then there is the timing, which is almost too perfect to be coincidental. Canon has reportedly delayed this launch to early 2026, likely aligned with CP Plus Yokohama, starting February 26th. On the surface, that looks like production delays or supply chain issues. But industry insiders are pointing to something more calculated. By waiting until 2026, Canon avoids the immediate impact of US tariffs that could inflate costs by 7 to 8%, keeps their pricing competitive, and most crucially, they sync their launch with Sony's rumored A7V announcement. Think about that strategically. Sony unveils their next-generation full-frame body. The internet goes wild, reviews flood YouTube, and then Canon drops the R7 Mark II with a spec sheet that makes people pause and ask, do I really need full frame? Or can I get 90% of that performance for half the price in a lighter package? That is psychological warfare in the camera market. Canon is not trying to beat Sony spec for spec in the same category. They are redefining the category itself. And here is the environmental angle nobody is talking about, but could be huge for younger creators. The bigger battery, LPE 6P compatibility, and cooling grip options are not just about performance, they are about sustainability. Longer shooting sessions mean fewer battery swaps, less waste, and better real-world endurance. Canon can market this as the eco-conscious choice compared to Sony's power-hungry flagships that chew through batteries during 8K recording. That might sound like a minor point, but for content creators building brands around sustainability and efficiency, it is a genuine selling point. But here is what Canon is really betting on. They are gambling that the future of professional photography is not about sensor size. It is about computational power, auto-faction intelligence, and hybrid capability. And if that is true, then APS-C with cutting-edge tech beats outdated full-frame every single time. So what does this all mean, and what is Canon's real endgame here? If these leaks are accurate, and multiple trusted sources are confirming the core specifications, then Canon is not just releasing another APS-C camera. They are launching a full-scale assault on the entire mid-tier camera market, and Sony's hybrid shooters are ground zero. At an estimated $1,999 to $2,200, the R7 Mark II positions itself as the value king. You are getting 40-megapixel stills, 8,060 frames per second raw video, flagship autofocus, and professional build quality for less than the cost of Sony's entry-level A7 IV body alone. And that is before you factor in lens costs. RFS glass is generally lighter and cheaper than full-frame equivalents, which means your total system cost stays reasonable while performance stays elite. Canon could easily bundle this with the RFS 18 to 150mm lens for around $2,499, giving you a complete kit that covers everything from wide landscapes to telephoto wildlife in one package. The hidden plan was never about one camera. It was about rebuilding trust in APS-C as a legitimate professional format, and the R7 Mark II is just the first domino. If you want to see where the camera industry is headed next, make sure you check out my Top 10 Rumored Cameras video, where we break down every major announcement expected in the next year. It will be linked on the end screen because these leaks are just the beginning. Stay tuned because this story is far from over, and the next leak might be even bigger than this one.